3, 2, 1. Oh, hi. Well, who likes rockets? Hello, and welcome to today's video. My name is Stephen Kruthartz. I am one of the educators here at Infinity Science Center. And today, we are talking about one of my favorite things to do here. We are talking about rockets. Specifically, we are talking about this rocket right here. This is an Estes brand Viking model rocket kit that you can purchase. We're going to break open one of the kits. We're going to look at each individual part of the rocket, and then we are going to take a look at this assembled rocket, and then we are going to talk about how they affect this rocket in flight. All right, let's take a look at our kit. First up is going to be the instruction booklet. It has all your building instructions and a list of things that you will need to put the rocket together. Up next is the body tube. It's the main part of the rocket, and it contains the engine and the recovery system, and it's going to connect to the next part of the rocket, which is the fins. You get 5 of these. They need to be punched out. You can have 3, 4, or 5 fins on your rocket. Up next is our nose cone and cap. You have to glue these together, and they will be the top of the rocket. The cap connects to the shock cord, which we'll get to in just a few moments. Now up next is going to be our launch lug. The launch lug goes on the outside of the rocket and connects the rocket to the launch pad when we are going to launch. Up next is the yellow spacer tube, and this is going to help place the next item in the kit in the proper position inside the body tube. This is the green engine block ring, and what it does is it keeps the engine in place and doesn't allow it to go too far into the body tube when building. Now next we have our shock cord. This is going to connect to our nose cone cap and to the shock cord anchor, which is located on the bottom right corner of the front page of the instruction booklet, and this is going to hold the rocket together in flight. And so up next is going to be our streamer. Our streamer is going to act like a parachute. It is going to slow the rocket down as it's coming back to the earth so that it doesn't accidentally hit anyone in the head. And so the final thing in our kit is going to be our stickers. You can decorate your rocket after everything's all dry. You have to cut these out and then peel the back off and then apply them to the rocket. So let's move on. Alright, so we've broken open our kit. We looked at all the components. Now let's look at what they are like on our completed rocket. We're actually going to start here at the top. This is the nose cone. Now the nose cone, you'll notice on this one is pretty pointy. They're standard on any rocket. Some of them are going to be more rounded than this, but what a nose cone does, it allows the air to move around the rocket as it's pretty much going this way. Because we have a lot of air that we have to push through, especially if you're launching a bigger rocket like the Saturn V rocket. And so that pushes through the air, allows the air to flow around the rocket so it can get to where it's going. Now, next thing to point out here, this is the body tube that we were talking about. It has basically 2 compartments on this rocket. It's a very small rocket. But on larger rockets, such as the Space Launch System from NASA, this is going to be where your fuel tanks are, along with a lot of the flight hardware to keep the rocket on course. Now, this one, though, we basically have 2 compartments in it. The bottom part, this is where our engine's going to go. We have an engine block ring right around here-ish. That is going to, should be right around there. It's going to keep our engine from going too far up into the rocket body. The other thing that it does, once fully prepared for launch, a few seconds after launch, the nose cone pops off and our streamer comes out. Now the streamer is part of the recovery system, a lot like a parachute on one of the Orion capsule or Crew Dragon capsule, and that just allows that capsule to return to Earth at a safe speed for the astronauts. And so this allows this rocket to return to Earth at a safe speed so that no one gets hit in the head, basically. 2 more things on our completed rocket, and the shock cord keeps everything intact as well. But another couple things on the actual tube of the rocket is one, you're going to need this. This is our launch lug. It's right here, or if you can't see from that end, right there. It's our small little plastic straw that's going to go allow our rocket to attach to the launch pad that we use. And that's comparable to the hold down clamps that they would use on a bigger rocket such as the space shuttle. Now the other thing that is on our rocket are these. These are fins, and so the fins actually help this rocket, especially since it's so light, to basically fly in a straight direction when it's pointed in launch orientation. So this keeps it from doing anything weird and really going off course, making it hard to recover. There are a few more things that you are going to need before you launch, and one of them is this. This is wadding. So what wadding is these are basically like little bits of tissue paper, and you kind of ball them up, and then you put them in here, and then you roll up your streamer, and then you put in the shock cord and the streamer and your nose cone. Then you're ready to launch, basically. Okay, so you still need fuel in order to launch your rocket. And this one uses a form of solid fuel in this little motor right here. Always make sure that this end is the one pointing towards the ground, or else it's not going to go into the sky. Now, this won't launch because we need to ignite this fuel, and it won't ignite until we give it a spark. And we're going to use this little wire igniter to do that. You basically just take the igniter, stick it here. It has to be resting on the fuel. And then, in order to keep this in place while you're transporting your engine, you're going to use this little tiny plug right here. You're going to put it right there. And when your engine assembly is all fully assembled, it should look like that from the bottom. And those are the parts of our rocket. Two more pieces of information you're going to need before you launch. Number one, always follow the safety rules that come in the instructions. They're meant to help you have fun and not get hurt. Number two, you always want to check with your local authorities to see where you can legally and safely launch. Laws will vary by state and by locality. And with those bits of information, I hope you have a fun time launching your own model rockets.